So in today's video we are going to be ranking all of my 5-star reads I've read since I've started reading. I believe I started reading back in 2021, so that was a very long time ago. So yeah, we've been reading for like 3 years now, so I thought I would go through and rank all of my books 5-star reads. And I saw Destiny do it, so I did steal this idea off Destiny, and I did also steal her tier ranking because I really liked them, so I thought creative license and all that. So the first one we've got, it will forever be a 5-star read, I fear. Second one is Nostalgia will keep it a 5-star. The next one is we're a little lower, I dropped it a little. The next one is a reread would lower this rating, like significantly lower it. And what was I thinking? So there are ratings that we're going to be doing. I'm going to now share the screen and we're going to get started. The first book we've got in here is the Ex Hex. A reread would lower this because I remember loving it. So I think I read this like first ever year or the second ever year of reading, and it was in February. I remember really well. I think I was surviving from COVID at the time, and I remember I read it in like 2 days, and because I only just started reading and I was like, right, 2 days of reading, that means that it's a 5-star because I read it so quickly. Don't know how I feel about that, but that's what we did. The next one is Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. I think Nostalgia is going to keep this at a 5-star. Penelope Douglas is one of my all-time favourite authors. I collect her books. I have a collection. I have multiples of her books. I freaking love them. And I think like Nostalgia, like if I think if I reread it or listened to it again, it wouldn't be a 5-star, that series, but Nostalgia will keep it at a 5-star because I don't know, I just absolutely loved it. Consider Me by Becka Mack. I think we're gonna lower it because I absolutely love Becka Mack and I love it so much. Looking back on it now, I would lower it. I would lower it to like a 4.5 or a 4.25 because I've read so much better ice hockey since then and so many better books, because literally I was reading this like a couple of years back, so I would lower it. Binding 13, it will forever be a 5-star. That series had me in tears, freaking tears. I still need to read Saving 6. Like, I started that back when it was still indie published. I had to stop reading it. It was getting to me. It was so getting to me. Wildfire. I'm going to put this up. We're a little lower. Looking back, I would think I rated it 5-star because I got it early. I got it like 2 weeks early and I just devoured it and I loved it. But I think looking back, it is lower. It just didn't, I don't think it hit where I needed to hit, if you know what I mean. Next one is Icebreaker, and I'm going to put it, we're a little lower as well. I devoured it. I love it. I still love Nate to this day. Like, Nate is still book boyfriend. But I think since reading series where it's like the Eden series and Hannah Cohen's books, I think I prefer other books. Zodiac Academy, The Reawakening. I think a reread would lower this. Now, I started the Zodiac Academy years ago, before it even got popular. Like, I'm talking like 2021 I started it, and I have majority of them. I just haven't read them. I started it and I got stuck because they are thick books. These books are chunky books, and I remember reading them and I got to be in a good mindset to read them, and I was reading them and devouring them and absolutely loving them, and I love the characters. It reads like Wattpad, and I think that's why I really enjoyed it, because I started reading on Wattpad. That's what started my reading journey back years ago, was reading Wattpad. But I just think, yeah, rereading that series, I think if I read it now, which I do really want to finish it, it would still hit, but it wouldn't be a 5-star. Reminders of Him. What was I thinking? Colleen Hoover, back when I read her, chef's kiss, loved. Now, absolutely not. My taste has gone from one end of the spectrum to another. I think Colleen Hoover is a great start, like if you're wanting to get into reading, but the moment you find your love and like the books that hit, you'll be like, what was I thinking given that such a high rating? The Finish Line, Nostalgia will keep it a 5-star because that series, like, I will cry. That series has my heart. 2 years now since I read it. I read it when it's indie published and it's now traditional published, and I just cry every time thinking about it. I can't even think about reading like the next series that's just coming out about it, like Tyler's book we're gonna get, and I just can't even think about it because I literally will start crying. I can't even read one of her books because, like, one of the new releases I got, and I was so excited because I just cry. I'm not emotionally ready. I don't think I ever will be, to be honest. The Right Move. It will forever be a 5-star. That man. Jealous by Nick Jonas is Ryan. Girlies that get it, get it. And the book girlies that don't. Good Girl Bad Blood, a reread would lower it quite dramatically. When I first got back into reading after 6 years of not, the first book I read was A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and then I read this one, and I think because I read them like pretty much after each other, and I was like, oh my god, I love it so much, like I need that one next, and I was so hyped about it. I gave it 5 stars. Everything. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? I did love it when I read it because I bought it 8 years ago, and I literally read it in the first year of going back into reading because I was like, I've got books on my shelf that I need reading. We're just gonna read it. I think because I read it in literally like a day because it was so fast paced. I give it 5 stars. I would not give it a 5 star now. I would give it like a 3. A 3 for me is like a middle ground, and I think that's where it is. The Nanny. We're a little lower. I rank books that I read really quickly really high, which I shouldn't do. I read books now that quick at times when I've got time on my hands that even if I don't like it and I just want to zoom through it to get it over with, I will read it quickly. So when I had a week off work because I was unwell, I literally read 7 books. I read a book a day because I was like, I got time off work, we're going to read as much as possible. So it was at the time when I was working 2 jobs and I literally had no time for reading. So reread would lower. Twisted Lies. We're going a little bit lower. That series in my heart, I love. It was one of the first ever like dark romance. They call it a dark romance. It's not a dark romance, but like first ever proper like spicy romance I ever read. Ever. And I love it. It has my heart for that reason. However, that's a series as a whole. However, the books individually, like I'm reading, or I tried to read King of Greed. You'll see it in a reading vlog. Could not do it. I think I'm over Anna Huang. Apart from like if she releases her new book like Striker, I'm more excited for that, like yay. And I've got literally a signed book by her, King of Sloth, but I'm not even interested in reading it because I couldn't even read King of Greed. So you know, Savage Lover. I think we're gonna go a little lower. We're going a little lower because I absolutely love that book. Sophie Lark is the queen of dark romance. I love her books. I love that series so much. That series is absolutely fantastic, but I don't think I would give it a 5 star now. It's got street racing in it, and at the time I was obsessed with F1. I still am obsessed with F1, but like I just wanted everything racing, and because it has street racing in it, I gave it like a 5 star because I was like, oh my god, it's got street racing in it. And I really should not give books ratings straight after when I'm obsessed with them, because then the obsession dies down. I'm like, what was I thinking giving that a 5 star? You will work that out throughout this. But yeah, I've read some more Sophie Lark books recently. No. Anywho, Point 57, Nostalgia would keep it a 5 star. That is the book that got me into Penelope Douglas. I literally read that book and then put it down. And I don't know why I never carried it on. I think I was working, I was like, Then finally read it, and I was like, what is this series? And then bought the whole of the Devil's Night series, and then have been obsessed with Penelope Douglas ever since. What was I thinking for Birthday Kisses by Monica Murphy? I remember reading this book and reading A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime and absolutely devouring it, absolutely loving the romance so much. Read that and I was like, oh my god, it's Ren and Crew, like that's just what I wanted. Gave it 5 star just for that, just for the feeling. Looking back now, what was I thinking? Why did it go 5 star? I honestly don't know. Final Offer, a reread would lower. I remember staying up till 5 AM reading this. And having work the next day, or is it work or uni the next day, and staying up till like 5 AM. Mental is what I did. Don't know why I did that. It ends with us. What was I thinking? I remember reading this straight after a breakup, literally devouring it. And that was not the book to read after a breakup. We don't do that. That's not a smart thing to do. Yeah, no, thank you. Verity, a reread would lower. I think this is one of her better books. I won't lie. It still has me questioning to this day. You will question your life choices. But a reread would lower. I wouldn't rate this a 5 star. It's of God and Fury. Nostalgia would keep it at 5 because that book, everything beautiful. That series as a whole has me on an emotional roller coaster. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how I feel about her books. I won't lie to you. I can get along with that one, and I think Nostalgia will keep it a 5 in my heart of hearts. Beautiful chef kiss. However, there is better books out there. Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Nostalgia will keep it a 5 star. This probably book now isn't a 5 star, but it's the first ever book I read after 6 years of not reading, and it got me back into reading. It got me this channel I have right now here. It had got me my TikTok and my Bookstagram and the amount of books I've got in this room right now, and I will forever love it for that reason alone. So, you know, We're keeping it a 5-star. Looking around, I think we would lower it. I think finishing it, and I was like questioning my life choices after finishing it, so I gave it a 5-star. I think I'll give it a 4.75 now, but I wouldn't give it a 5-star. But that Legendborn, a reread would lower. I have tried about 3 times listening to the audiobook of Bloodmarked. Cannot do it. It's on my Libby. If I ever want to read it, I'm just going to listen to the audiobook, because that writing is so small in that book. You need a magnifying glass to freaking read it. Like, it's tiny. But I think I'm just going to audiobook it if I ever want to. I've never been inclined to read the next one. I bought it so excited, and I've never been inclined to read the next one. I have recommended it to so many people though, when I used to work in Waterstones, because I think if you're wanting to get into fantasy, great place to start. If you're a YA person, young adult, and you want to get into reading, great place to start, because it's enthralling in that sense. Powerless, I think we will lower it a little bit. I think when I read it, I was like, oh my god, this is absolutely amazing. Like, I have met her, I love that book, but I think I was in the moment. But I have met her. I literally followed that story from the very beginning, and it has a place in my heart, but I wouldn't call it a 5-star now. However, I think surrounding that book, I have tainted memories, and if I didn't have the memories of something that's not even related to the book in the slightest, but is wrapped around that book, I think if I didn't have them memories, it would still be a 5-star, and it would be a 5-star forever. But because I've got the memories wrapped around it, I can't even pick up Powerful, like literally a novella, because of the memories. So we love it. Mile High, I think we're going a little lower, because as much as I love it, and as much as that is got my heart, I think The Right Move and Caught Up are just better than it, and I think I would actually rate that like a 4.75. Though it was too fat. 100 to 200 pages shorter, yes, but it's not. Hooked, I think a reread would lower it, but it wouldn't lower it a lot. I think it would lower it to like a 4, because I read Hooked, Scarred and Wrecked, and they're all good and I devour them, but I don't think they're absolutely everything. However, Hooked is still my favourite, but I can understand why people don't like it. That series and her romance and dark romance, it's something. So, you know, Black Ties and White Lies, I think I would actually, we're gonna lower it a little. I think that I would probably rate it like a 4.5 now. I do actually have an arc though for the newest one coming out, and I'm so excited to read it, and I absolutely love Kat Singleton. I really want to get Kindle Unlimited again just to read the other series, because I really want Pippa and Candoms, because I saw them in this one and the second one. I was like, I need their story, not really thinking, oh, it's gonna be part of this one, not realizing it's in a different book series. And I literally seen them in Rewrite Our Story, and that's the story I want to read and that I am invested in. So I really need to get Kindle Unlimited again, or just say fuck it and buy it on my Kindle. But yeah, I really did enjoy it. A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime, I think a reread will lower this book significantly, because I have read 3 other books by Monica Murphy now. No, I've read 4 books by her now. 2 of them, oh my god, no, absolutely not. They're like 3-star books, and then the other 2 were connected, so A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime and Birthday Kisses, and I just don't think, I think if I read them now, absolutely not. The Hawthorne Legacy, what was I thinking? I know why I rated it a 5-star, because I was so excited to read it. I was the first year as I was getting into reading. Looking now, absolutely not. That wouldn't even be a 5-star. Things We Never Got Over, we would lower this book. Yeah, this series, no. I think at the time I was like, this is a 5-star series, beautiful, loved it, and looking back now, nah. But I will be lending them to my friend, because I think you do need to read it. So Lonnie, if you're watching, you will be getting this series. You'll probably have already got it by now, because we would have already met up before this video comes out. But you know, Things We Left Behind, nostalgia, will keep it at 5 stars. I was waiting for about 2 years for this book, and I devoured it, and I loved it. And Lucian is everything. Lucy is chef's kiss, and yes, I will love it. Brutal Prince, I think we would lower this book. We would lower it a little bit, because this is the start of the Brutal Right series. I absolutely love it. I mean, she tries to kill her husband on the wedding night, like who doesn't do that? I think it was the introduction to Sophie Lark. There's better books in that series, there is. Things We Hide from the Light, we would lower this book. A reread would lower it, just because I think this is the worst one in the series. Like, Knox has my heart, Lucian has my heart, Nash irritates me. Why I rated it a 5-star, I don't know. Fire Night, I think a reread would lower this book. I think I just rated it a 5-star because it was the last novella in the Devil's Night series and it just had the kids in it and it had my heart. However, Penelope Douglas, you're not watching this, but I'm going to put this out into the universe because that's called manifestation. I want the kids. I want a book series with the Devil Knights kids. Please, thank you. We'll come back to it. Fourth Wing. I think I think we're gonna lower it a little bit. This in my head was a 6-star read. Beautiful, loved it. I think at the time I was so like, oh my god, I actually read a fantasy that I was like 6-star. Looking back now, no. I haven't even read Iron Flame yet, and I'm just like, it did make me cry. So, you know. But I think fantasy, the moment I'm like, oh my god, I finished a fantasy and it's like a 5-star, I think I just automatically rate it a 5-star, even though it probably shouldn't be. Swift and Saddled. I think we're gonna lower it a little bit. I love this series, and I think because I got an arc of it early and I was like, oh my god, I got an arc of it, and I devoured it. I was like, this is a 6-star. But I think if I reread it, I would lower it now. King of Breath, what was I thinking? I don't like that series. I have read 2 of them and I've tried reading the 3rd one. I cannot stand that series. I don't know what I was thinking. What is that series? In my opinion, worst series written, apart from If It Ever series, but no, it needs to be gone. Keeping 13. Keeping 13. Nostalgia will keep it. Oh no, it will forever be a 5-star. It will forever be a 5-star. It's in my heart. That series alone has my heart. And I know so many people have already finished that series. I've not even finished that series, and it's because the 3rd one, Joey's book, I can't even read it because it just hits too close to my heart, and I was like, I cannot read this. So I actually do need to read it. I'm just not emotionally ready or in the right headspace. I need to be in like the most happiest mood ever, and when you have high functioning depression, that is not always the case. So, you know, The Deal, what was I thinking? No, actually, I think a reread would lower, and a reread actually did lower it because I did a reread of this book and it was significantly lowered from a 5-star to a 3-star, because that series, absolutely great for getting into ice hockey books. I would happily tell anyone who wants to get into ice hockey to read the Off Campus series and then the Blair U series and then the Graham Effect series. That beautiful if you want to get into ice hockey. I have got into ice hockey. I have now found my ice hockey I like, and I know which authors I'm going to read. I'm trying to read the Value series currently. I have 2 left. I enjoy them to a point, but they annoy me. So they never high 5 stars anymore. Literally, I read The Deal, never carried it on until like a year and a half later, then to finish the series because I was like, I need to finish this series. Then read, and I love that series, but it's not a 5-star series. It's like a nostalgia series, but still can't be a 5-star series, if you know what I mean. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Nostalgia will keep it a 5-star because I, as a kid, from a very young age, listened to all the Harry Potters on audiobook. That is how I went to sleep. I always have to have a Harry Potter on whilst I'm doing a road trip, especially in a long one. It's always a thing that I have to do. I have to have a Harry Potter playing, even just for a little bit. It's like a rule that I have. So Nostalgia will keep it a 5-star. That series is everything. If I am ever unwell or like mentally struggling, I will read that book series. So that's what that book series is. Play With Me. I think we're gonna lower it a little bit. Like with Consider Me, I think it's the same thing. I think at the time I gave 5-star. I don't know if it is. So, you know, Caught Up. Caught Up is it will forever be a 5-star. Because that series, that single dad, that everything, he brought the single dad into my life as a book series, and I absolutely love him for it. So yes, I will love it. Still in there, Sophie Lark. I think we're going to lower it a little bit. No, I think a reread would lower it actually, because that has a kidnapping in it and I devoured it and I loved it, but not for me, you know. Wild Love. It might be because I've literally finished it last month, but Wild Love has my heart. That series is everything. 5-star always. 5-star always. Powerless by Elsie Silver. We're gonna lower it a little bit. I don't know why I gave it a 5-star, I won't lie. I don't think it is 5-star material, but you know. Bully Penelope Douglas. I think we're gonna lower this one as well. I think I rated it high because it was Penelope Douglas and I have Street written in it, but I haven't even finished the rest of the series and I don't really want to. At least I'll have so many Penelope Douglas books that I have on my shelf that I don't actually want to read. We don't talk about that. Maybe I should sell them. I don't want to sell them. This is my issue, right? I've got so many Penelope Douglas books that I don't actually want to read, but I probably should read them. But I've got so many other books to read and I could use that space, but they're my Penelope Douglas books, so I don't want to get rid of them. You know, logical, tell me about it. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. I think nostalgia keeps it a 5. I don't know why I gave it a 5, but it's just nostalgic, ain't it? So that's why we're going to put it there. A Touch of Darkness. I think a reread would lower this series. This book, I read this one, then read the next one and was like, what the frick's going on? Then tried to do a tandem read of that one and The God of Whatever because I got an arc for it. Absolutely not. No thank you. Don't know what I was thinking. Don't know what I was doing. We move on. Now Flock and Exodus with the finish line. That is the series order. Overall, nostalgia will keep it at 5 stars. I cried in that series. I felt emotional roller coaster. It's been 2 years. Cannot stop thinking about Dom. It rains and I'm in my conservatory. I tear up and start crying at times because rainy days have happened. Not going to talk about it. I will start crying. Breakaway. It will always be a 5 star. I have read this semi recently and it is my all-time favourite ice hockey book. No one will tell me otherwise. It's my all-time favourite ice hockey book and that's all I need to say on that matter. Her greatest mistake. I can't stop thinking about the characters. I know I read it really recently, but I cannot stop thinking about them. It will forever be a 5 star. In my rating, in my May reads, I did actually rate it a 4.75 stars, but I've changed it to a 5 star, and that is because literally in my head constantly, I cannot stop thinking about Braxton and Maddox. I cannot stop thinking about them. They are just everything, so that's where we're going. And the last one is Indigo Ridge. It will forever be a 5 star. Because it started the series of the Edens. Now I know I haven't rated any of the other Edens 5 stars. However, that series as a whole is 5 stars. I feel like an Eden myself. They are everything. I don't know what I would do without them. And I cannot stop thinking about them. I cannot stop thinking about the family. They found family. I am just in awe of that family, to be honest. So that is what we're going with. So yeah, that's it, done. We finished it, we completed it. It's absolutely beautiful. So if you have read any of them, please do let me know your thoughts and feelings and what you thought of these books, because I'd really like to know, have you read any of them? Have you rated any of them 5 stars? Have I given you some more recommendations to read? Do let me know. Also let me know any videos you want, because it's summer, so it's like currently half 8 at night and I can still film, so we love that. Let me know though if there's anything you'd like me to do, and I'll see you guys in my next video, which is 4 p.m. on a Sunday GMT time. We're hoping I can get quite a few videos out so we can have maybe 2 videos a week, maybe, we can hope. But anywho, I'm going to go and I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time in my next video.
Taking you in this moment, come get close.